Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode number 265 of the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media. Hope everybody out there had a very happy and healthy Thanksgiving Day holiday. And, of course, the Milwaukee Brewers, thankful that they found this guy. He had bounced around from organization to organization, but we think he has definitely found a home for the next several years. That would be right-handed pitcher Tobias Myers of your Milwaukee Brewers. Happy holidays, my friend. How you doing?
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm doing good. Just training, trying to get ready for that long season coming up.
Oh, we can't start with the training stuff yet. We just, truth be told, we're taping this on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving to get this out early. You haven't started training, have you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Only, this is actually the longest I've taken off. It was probably about a month. So, yeah, we're working on, I've been back in the gym for about a month now, so.
We're not throwing a baseball, are we?
Yeah, light, nice and light. Program's out, so nothing high intent, just getting the arm moving, getting ready for touch of slope next month and turn around and is spring training.
Okay. All right. We got a lot to get to because I think your story is fascinating and one of the best ones we saw in 2024. But let's start with the fun stuff here. This is 48 hours before Thanksgiving. What do you do for the holiday? What's the big deal? Is it 20 people? Is it 30 people? Is it 4 people? What is it?
It's pretty small. I go back home. So I'm from Central Florida, Winter Haven area. I met my fiance down in South Florida, which is around the Boca Raton area.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I spend my off seasons. And we go back to my mom's house, and it's probably 10 of us. Just eat some food, watch some. She loves the American Idol, The Voice, all those. So those are usually playing in the background, and she's trying to make everybody watch every audition.
Oh, so, interesting. Do you get into that stuff or no?
So I went to a school of the arts from 3rd grade until 8th grade, where you had to kind of pick an art program. But no, not too big into. I like music, but I don't play any music or sing or nothing. So just a fan.
All right, wait a second. Hold on. School of the Arts. I love this. No, this is it. I'm into this sort of stuff. My oldest son, who's not too much younger than you, is like a really, really good guitarist. I love hearing people that can sing or just any sort of musically inclined. So which direction did you go? If you went to a school like that for 4 or 5 years, yeah, you got to kind of pick a lane.
Yep. So weirdly, all the baseball players did orchestra. So I ended up going with all the baseball players and played violin for 4 or 5 years.
Okay. Did you dig
it?
I
think I can still play it. I just can't read the music anymore.
No. Well, that's all right. We can freestyle on our own.
You don't lose that feel.
So did you enjoy it, though? Or was it like, were you like, oh, man, I got to pick up the violin today?
So I did enjoy it. It wasn't bad. It was fun because we had a young orchestra teacher who liked to play some music that I actually knew, some like Coldplay and some stuff that we grew up on. And so that was the fun part. But when I went to high school, I was going to continue playing it, but they said, hey, if you have a sporting event or an orchestra event, you have to go to orchestra. So I was like, that's it for me.
Yeah. I hate it. This is one of my pet peeves in anything. When they make kids narrow their choices to one singular choice, essentially, right? So I don't care. Like, were you a multi-sport athlete growing up, or were you just baseball?
Just baseball, but I wish I played multiple sports because
right.
I did I was my first off season as an 18-year-old. My conditioning was to go play basketball for hours. Slowly learned that's not the smartest thing to do, so we cut that out. But I love sports. I love play football. I throw the football every day. Basketball. I just never played. I have an older brother who's 6 years older than me, and I played 2 years of flag football. I went and watched one of his games. He had to have been 12 or 13, and I watched a kid get hit and couldn't get off the field, and they had to cart him off. And I was like, that's not my sport. I'm just going to stick to baseball.
Wait a second. In flag football or regular football,
No.
You saw him get hit?
I was in flag, so I played 2 years of flag. I was coming up on my first year in pads, so I had to make a decision. Do I want to play or do I want to just play baseball? Because that's kind of when travel ball was starting up, 8, 9 years old. So I watched that happen, and I was like, oh, that decision's easy. I'm going to stick with baseball.
Got it. Yeah, I remember when you play football, I played from 5th grade on. The first time you get hit, you either fall in love with it or you are counting down the days until the season is over. And I swear to God, I stuck with it because everybody in Ohio, you play football. So in 8th grade, I was a backup defensive lineman. And the guard in front of me, he pulled. And then my buddy Austin Shepard, who was the starting left guard, I was like, oh, my God, there's nobody there. He came over and cracked me in the head to the point where I started seeing stars and, like, kids dancing around my head like with the cartoons. And I was like, that's it. I'm out. I had enough.
Takes one time. That's it.
Yeah.
And luckily, take the hit. I watched it.
Yeah. All right, more of the show coming your way. But first, you know what we all need a little bit more of? To get off our ass. With bold flavors and a refreshing citrus kick, Mountain Dew will get you off your ass and have you feeling like you're on an actual mountain. A mountain where the weather is always perfect. Your friends are ready to hang, and a day of epic proportions awaits. So here's what I need you to do. Go outside and set up an activity that is equal parts fun and competition. I don't care whether you're good at it. I'm talking about a 3-point shooting contest, a putting contest. You could have a longest drive competition, longest throw competition. Go play some Frisbee golf. Go play some pickleball, some blitzball, some wiffle ball. Invent a new kind of ball. I don't care what it is, but do it. Why? Because the mountain is calling and you should answer. So grab your friends, grab an ice-cold Mountain Dew wherever refreshing beverages are sold. And I got 3 words for you to live your life by. Do the do. But, kind of getting back to the whole discussion of being able to do multiple things. Like, I wish that they wouldn't put that on you, that you have to go to the orchestra or you have to go to baseball. Because, like, my buddy Steven Brault, who pitched in the big leagues, right, and now is a very, very good announcer for the Pittsburgh Pirates, he actually went to college because he could do both. He could both play baseball, and he was a theater major who loved to sing, and that's a big part of his life moving forward. I wish, we'd let kids be kids and have multiple interests, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was lucky to be thrown into that situation. So, like, now my goal is to relearn how to play. I want to learn how to play the piano. I want to learn how to play, like, the guitar. Just fun instruments that you can play around the house. So I'm definitely grateful for going there, and probably wasn't back then, but it's cool now. Something I can look forward to post baseball and, like, get into maybe,
I love it. When are you getting married, by the way?
December 14th. Couple weeks.
Oh my gosh, this is a big deal.
Oh, it's coming up. Yeah.
All right.
I just got back from my bachelor trip. We did a golf trip over in Hilton Head Island, which was a lot of fun. Yeah. So I just got back yesterday.
Any of the boys make the trip?
Carlos Rodriguez.
Okay. All right.
Young prospect. He debuted this year with us.
Yeah.
20 right-handed pitcher. Yeah, he made the trip. So he's down here in Miami. We got pretty close there on that AA season 2023. So yeah, we're pretty close. He's in the lineup.
Very good. All right. So how big are we talking big wedding, mid-size, small? What do we got?
I think we invited 120, and we have 100 coming, 98, something like that.
Okay. Well, see,
not too.
Whether or not you are close with the big ballers on the team, I'm talking about Yelich and Freddie Peralta, the guys who got a little bit of the dough, because they don't have to come, but boy, they'll get you a nice gift. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many players from our team this year getting married this offseason and next offseason. I think there's like 7 of us, 6 or 7, that are getting married this offseason / next offseason.
Okay.
Well, so hopefully they dig those pots.
All right. So share with us what you want about how'd you meet your fiance? I don't want to keep calling her your fiance. I need a name here.
Leah.
Okay, Leah.
Her name's Leah.
Very good.
I'm from Winter Haven, which, if you know anything about Polk County, not a lot of training down there. So 2019, before my high A season, one of my best friends down here, Tommy Romero, he debuted with Tampa a few years ago. He's been in AAA with the Giants and Washington Nationals, but he trains here. He lives here. So I called him up and I was like, hey, I got about a week and a half till we report for spring training. My catcher already left. I don't have anyone to throw with. Kind of come down there and stay with you, play catch, throw some live ABs. So that ended up happening. And she was in the friend group of his friend group. So we went out to dinner one night. We met, started communicating throughout that 2019 season. And yeah, ever since October 2019, we've been going pretty strong.
Good for you guys. This is awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, she's all into the baseball life though. She loves it. She knows the pitches, the pitch shape, what they should be doing, everything. So it's funny. She's into it.
So after you have a start, does she talk to you about it? Is she
No,
she stays away from that.
she's very, very very understanding of you need a few hours or whatever, but she'll yeah. You should throw your change up more. You should do this. I go, okay, coach. Let me see your pitches. But
So
it's funny.
I love that. I love that she's that invested.
Yeah, she loves it. She likes learning, so she likes to ask a lot of questions like why is this happening or whatever. But it's fun. We both learn a lot at the same time, so it's pretty cool.
So your journey, as I mentioned at the top of the show, is rather remarkable. You're 26 years old, and you finally made your big league debut this year. You have been at it. You've been through a half dozen organizations. You have been traded multiple times. You have been given up for cash. You had a horrific season when you got to AAA. I guess I'm most curious, was there ever a point, because we talk on this show a lot about dealing with failure. I mean, it is the number one thing that separates you guys from the guys who don't make it in this sport. Was there ever a point where you thought to yourself, my God, this is not going to happen?
Yeah, definitely. Like there's some days where, especially in the middle of that season, where I had those thoughts where you never know what can happen, and you're just trying to get through each day and just hope it gets better. But after the season, I really realized that I needed that. I needed something to humble me and push me, and I got home, took maybe a week off, went right back into throwing, and I just realized that it's not about the 1 year that's going to make the player. It's about the whole picture. So it humbled me, and it made me realize that everything's going to be okay, and I can turn around from this. I just have to have the right mindset about going with everything. And I was going to Milwaukee, which was a new situation for me, and I've only heard great things about him. And day one, when I got in, I signed early, which was, I think it was around this time 2 years ago, right before Thanksgiving. So I was able to get out to Arizona, get comfortable, get acclimated, and they've been nothing but great to me so far.
Well, but I've talked to some guys who, and Stephen Vogt is one of them, now the manager of the Cleveland Guardians. I mean, I don't think he made his major league debut until age 27. He said, yeah, there were a lot of times where I had to talk to my wife about whether or not, I'm going to keep doing this. And I think her point always was, listen, you need to basically turn over every stone until it is done, until they rip that jersey off your back. But did you ever give yourself a time frame where you said, hey, if I don't make it by this age or at this point in the development, I'm going to kind of move on to my next phase?
No, because there's a story a lot of people don't know. In 2022, and it was April 19th, or very, very early in the year. I was on the 40-man with Cleveland. I got called up to the big leagues to make my debut against the White Sox in a doubleheader. And on my flight over, there was some COVID positive cases that in the new CBA, they can bring up non-40-man guys from AAA. So what they did was they replaced those guys with the non-40-man guys with the COVID guys instead of me making my debut. And that was one thing that just messed with my head a lot. I didn't know how to handle that situation, the business side of everything. I was 23 years old, and I just never went through anything. I was upset with not making my debut. I had my whole family out, and that really put in perspective the business side of it, and it made me just go home in that off season and work as hard as I can, and just always being able to perform, I think, is the biggest thing. And I was worried about everything except performing. I was worried about debut and when's it going to happen. And I just needed to flip that switch to all I can control is throwing the baseball. And if I do that at the ability that I know I can do it at, then everything will take care of itself. And it took me that full.
So wait a sec.
2022.
So you were supposed to start one of Cleveland's games of the doubleheader, and you were on a positive flight. Is that what? Am I understanding this right?
No. So I was told I'm getting ready to make my debut against the White Sox in a doubleheader. I get on my flight. I get a connection in Chicago. When I land in Chicago, I have like 5 or 6 missed calls from the team. The team had 3 positive COVID players already. They just found out that morning when I was flying over. And in the new CBA, you can replace COVID guys in the big leagues with non-40-man guys in AAA. So they flipped those guys, and I was in limbo in the middle. And then they ended up putting me on the taxi squad, and then I ended up going back to AAA a few days later. But that was a situation where I didn't know how to handle the business, everything, and I just didn't have anyone that helped me with that. I guess you could say I didn't want the help. I didn't think I needed the help, but it showed a few months later when the season just kept going downhill.
Oh, what a bummer! So you were ready to make your debut. Your family was traveling to go meet you in Chicago, and they said, we're taking guys who are not on the 40-man. Yeah. Because of this loophole in the CB. Seriously, that had to be crushing.
It was very, very tough for me. Especially it was my first year on the 40-man, first year in big league camp. This was 3 weeks after spring training. So everything was so fresh and so new and just a lot of emotions. But I was very, very grateful to go through that because I learned that it's a long season. Like there's no reason I should have been pressing that hard in April. And it's something I had to go through. And then the next year, just kind of flipped that switch to no matter what happens off the field with the business side, all I can control is the way I throw the baseball and just being able to prepare and be ready for every start.
More baseball talk coming your way, but first let's do a little blitzball talk. Blitzball Battle 5. That's right. The postseason is here. Here's a little taste of what's coming your way every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. The playoffs continue on. Blitzball Battle 5. It's the 3-6 matchup between the defending champion, McFlurry Power, and We Got Ice. Not only is McFlurry Power in line to successfully defend their Blitzball crown, they are still in line to win the inaugural Warehouse Cup. On the other side of things, We Got Ice. Don't get that skunk on your jersey.
Right. There's been so many issues with Jack. What are we going to get from Jack Doyle today?
And I think with the defending champs, I feel like they're in a pretty good place.
Always going to be able to pitch. Will they swing the bats?
I'm going to go ahead and take Team McFlurry Power. The fact that they still have a chance at the Cup, we know how competitive they get.
I don't think I've picked one right for the whole tournament. So I'm going to pick McFlurry Power because I'm wrong most of the time.
We will see you later today for Game 11. It's postseason time. Blitzball Battle 5. So let's hit the fast forward button to 2024. You're in Brewers camp. Mm-hmm. You weren't sent down early in camp, but you were.
It was the second.
I think
second.
Okay, it was the second. Got it. So you didn't make the team out of spring training, but they brought you up for what was it? For one day in April? Is that accurate?
Yep. I believe Wade got hit with a comebacker, and he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to go. So they brought me up just in case, and put me in the bullpen for the one game against I think it was the Padres, which was weird because it was like 2 years and 1 day from that debut day that I was supposed to debut. So it was just a weird situation. But even then, so I came up, I watched the game in the bullpen, got optioned the very next day. Still 6-7 years in the minor leagues, haven't debuted yet. But I learned how to handle it from that first situation. So this time I just went back to AAA and I was like, it's April. I'll get another chance. Just keep doing what I'm doing daily. And it really helped out.
Okay, so what was it like when they told you that you were coming up, even if it was just for one day?
So my pitching coach in AAA told me, like, hey, this move could be made. They're not sure. So-and-so maybe not be able to go. So I was aware before the game, before the game in AAA. And game goes on. We were keeping track of the score in the dugout. Everyone does that. So we realized, like, I believe, I don't want to be wrong, but I think we used a few pitchers that night in the big leagues. So I had a feeling I was going to go up. We go in the locker room, I shower. I don't want to just leave because I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. And then Sweetie calls me in the office, and I kind of knew at that point, but it was still just surreal, blacked out. I don't remember what he told me, but it was awesome. It was an awesome moment.
What was the first call? Who was the first call that you made?
I called my mom and my fiance.
Were there tears?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. My mom was so shocked. She was just worried about trying to get to the stadium. But yeah, there were definitely some tears. I was definitely lost for words. I was just super excited to get the opportunity, especially in April, because I was just ready to pitch a year in AAA and try to grind it out and, maybe get the call up September or whatnot. But I was just super, super grateful.
So when you had 2 minutes to yourself after making the calls and everything else, and it just settles down, whether it's on the plane flight or anything, was there a little bit of, all this grinding, the shitty year I had in AAA, all of the trades, all of the uncertainty, whether this is for one day or for many years, like, I've made it?
That didn't happen until after my debut, after I pitched, because I knew anything could happen. I was going up to fill in. I kind of know how the business works now, so it wasn't a shock to me that I might not throw. But when I got called up the second time and I was told, like, you're starting tomorrow against Pittsburgh, it was a good amount of nerves, but I actually slept pretty well that night, which was weird. Maybe it was just, I was just ready for it. I have no idea, but pre-start, same thing. No nerves. Just super excited to do it. I've been waiting for so long to get this opportunity. And since I was 4 years old, been playing this game. And that's what we all played, just to get that one day in the big leagues and say, like, yeah, I'm a Major League Baseball player. But it was super, super exciting. Yeah, it was great weather there in Pittsburgh. I couldn't complain. It was awesome.
Okay, so march us through this because it's an incredible story. You're on the mound. Who steps into the batter's box, and where is he from?
Andrew McCutchen, and he's from Fort Meade, Florida, it's in Polk County. It's about 45-minute drive from where I grew up. And I used to, one time I attended one of his camps when he would come back for the offseason. I went my 7th grade, going to my 8th grade year. We couldn't play high school where I was from that young. So his high school was I think it was a magnet school. So you were allowed to be like an 8th grader and play JV summer ball. So actually one of my best friends growing up grew up in Fort Meade, and he played travel ball baseball with me. So I went and stayed with him one summer and played for Fort Meade High School JV team, which was where Andrew McCutchen grew up and played high school. And he hit the first ball off farther than, I mean, it was funny in the moment to me. It wasn't like a freak out moment in my head. I was just kind of like, that's just how it has to start. There's no other way for my story to make sense if it doesn't start with a first pitch homer.
But like one of the legends from where you grew up, the odds of facing him as the first batter and then having him take you deep. By the way, don't feel bad. He's clicked a lot of pretty good pitchers at this level.
I'm a huge McCutchen. I'm a huge Kutch fan. It was funny because it was just envisioning his homers. Like, I just seen it in person, and I was like, I've seen that so many times.
How did you settle down afterward?
I was just like, it can't get worse than that. It can't get worse. I might as well just fill it up and try to get through this thing. And then it took I think Reynolds, he just missed the next pitch. First pitch heater up a little bit. He hit it to the warning track to right field. And I was just like, holy cow, this is a little different. But yeah, after like the first 3 or 4 innings, just in and out of the dugout, just seeing like, oh, it's the same game. I mean, obviously everybody knows up there it's tougher. It's tougher to be consistent every week and face those guys and whatnot. But it was It was a few innings. Took me a few innings to settle down and just look around and say like, oh, we're here. It's baseball.
Was there a veteran or somebody that helped settle you down and kind of get you through that first day or first few days?
I think a lot of the guys kind of left me alone for the debut, especially. But after the debut was where I got a lot of, because the next start was, or not my second start, but my third start in Chicago was pretty rough. I think I walked 4 in the first inning. It was my first like start in a loud, very loud stadium, sold out, Cubs versus Brewers. And after that game, it was rough. So I sat down with Willie, Freddie. Everybody, pretty much everybody on the team who was near me, Joe Ross, Trevor McGill, all these guys, they sat me down and talked to me and helped me out and just kind of let me know, like, it's part of it. You're going to go through it. It's your first time throwing in a stadium in front of 40,000 people. So just try to take it day by day and just go back to what you're doing before. Don't try to put too much pressure on yourself. Just be you.
Yeah. How startling is that? I mean, it's the big joke is that there's a second deck, right? I mean, that's what happens because in these minor league ballparks, you're talking about usually maximum of 10,000 people. There is no second deck there. You know, here it is the show. I mean, that's why they call it what they call it. How jarring is it the first time you set foot on a major league field and you are the guy at the center of the diamond?
For the debut, I didn't really. I looked around. I was actually out during BP, walking around the stadium, sitting in the dugout. So I kind of did my looking around then, and then once I finished the game, walking off the mound, I knew I was done after the 5th inning. So I kind of did my looking around and just soaked it all in. But pregame and during the game, I was just trying to focus on the catcher's mitt. And the first time I experienced the feeling of kind of like overwhelmed a little bit was that Chicago start, and I don't know if it was. I mean, it was probably a lot of things, but going from that like indoor bullpen to the doors open at 40,000, that is what kind of threw me off a tad bit. But I guess it's just, something you got to go through. And it was cool, though. It was awesome. I mean, I walked 4 guys, and I didn't hear anything from the fans, so I was pretty happy about that.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Way to make it.
Nothing bad.
When did you realize that – because I imagine as a guy who's in his mid-20s that struggled at times just to even get there, that you're like, my God, I got to prove something every time out. When did you cross over that threshold of saying, okay, now I'm here. I'm like part of a team that can win a division?
It took a while, honestly. So I came up and I struggled a little bit for that first, I think it was first 4 or 5 starts. And I went back down for a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I came back up. And even the June was the best month. I think it was like 25 innings and 3 or 4 runs. But even after that month, it was still like, I need to do what I need to do every day. I need to be prepared. There's no getting comfortable. It's still every single start is a challenge. So I would say probably until Augustish, September, where I felt like I started looking around and like, oh, I'm kind of part of this. Like it kind of fueled me a little bit just to go out there and do what I can to help the boys win. And I mean, it was a heck of a year for the team, and it was such a fun group, and it was just so easy to compete because everybody was so with each other. The vibe was amazing. It was just a great group of guys. Everyone had each other's back. All the veterans looked after the young guys. It was a good year. It was a fun group.
And what's Murph like? I had him on this show, man. He's got a lot of old school in him, but I imagine he could still relate to the guys in the 20s.
Yeah, so that was what I took away from it for sure, was he does such a good job with the young guys and obviously the veterans. But yeah, that was like what I really took away from this whole season, especially getting home and like looking back on the whole year and letting everything soak in, was like, man, he does a really, really good job with the young guys and keeping us comfortable. I mean, you could see it with the amount of young talent we have on the team and how comfortable guys get and just go out there and do their job every day. And he just keeps it low. He keeps it loose. He's funny. He's a one of a kind for sure.
Yeah. What's your best story? What do we got?
before my debut, I'm warming up in center field in Pittsburgh, and we're throwing all the way out in the fence near the bullpen. I'm in center field, and I turn to my left for mid catch, and I see Murph walking out across first base, and he crosses right field. And he's headed right to me, and I'm like, oh no, I'm getting optioned here on the field before we start the game. We're not gonna make it on the field. And he just kind of put his arm around me, and he's just like, hey, this day, you might think it's about you, but this day is about the team, and just go out there and compete and give it everything you can for the team, because those guys in there are what's important, the full train. And he always preaches that whoever's on the bus is the most important, and just I think it was his way of trying to loosen me up. It made me nervous as hell, I'll tell you that, because I was I can't. And then one time, where were we at? We were in San Diego. We had a 4-game series against San Diego, and they played so well the first 3 games. It didn't matter who we were pitching up there; they were hitting the ball, and we may have walked a few guys and got ourselves in trouble with the walks. So I'm starting the getaway day on Sunday, and this is prime time. This is the Padres. It's sold out. It's one of probably my second time throwing in like a stadium like this where it's sold out. The environment's crazy. And he comes up and taps me. I mean, I'm walking on the mound. I'm getting ready to leave the dugout and go on the mound. And he taps me and he says, hey, we need strikes out of you today. And just turns around. And I was like, oh, that's exactly what you want to hear there right before going on the mound. But, I mean, it works. I mean, he has his ways. He has his little ways to kind of loosen you up and keep it super loose in the clubhouse and the dugout during the game.
Hey, by the way, did you please tell me you didn't walk four guys in the first then after he said throw strikes?
No, I did not.
Okay,
Zero that day. Thank goodness. 0.
Hey, I got to give Murph some credit, though.
It works.
Yeah, it works. I got to give Murph some credit because he's a man in his 60s, and he's got little kids.
Mm-hmm.
He got kids that are like, I want to say maybe 10.
Keeping them young.
Something like that. Yeah.
Keeping them young.
Yeah. Hey, Murph, go do your thing. It's okay.
Hey, manager.
It's okay with
manager of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. So hit the fast forward button. You guys win the division. You have to end up playing the New York Mets, who had quite an incredible run down the stretch. They were zigzagging all over the country, beating the Braves on that doubleheader day just to get in. They end up staring you right in the face, and we get to a decisive Game 3. And who gets the ball? None other than Tobias Myers, who wasn't even really a thought back in spring training for the Milwaukee Brewers. Did you sleep the night before that game?
I did. Yeah, I was pretty calm. I think what they did to calm me down was they told me, Hook told me, like, hey, you're going to throw tomorrow. Not sure if you're starting. Figure it out. I think they did that just to let me sleep well that night. And then I woke up the next morning, hey, you're starting today. Through it from a text. So I was super excited. I felt good. I was confident about the moment. I really love competing. I love competition. And I think that's one of the hardest things about the minor leagues is just it's not there every single night. It is the minor leagues. Everybody's there to get better and develop. But that was my favorite thing about the big leagues was just the competition. Like every single night you want to win, especially Murph, especially Milwaukee Brewers. That's all we preach, win tonight. But so I was super excited about that moment. And I was in the bullpen for the first 2 games, just itching to get out there. So just being able to get that opportunity, knowing I was starting the game and knowing that I had the team behind me, we were confident. We were super hyped. We were happy about being in that Game 3. And yeah, it was a great moment. It's kind of like a video game moment in my head, I think.
How have you rewatched the game?
Yes, definitely.
And when you're watching it, do you get nervous? Are you excited? How do you watch it?
It's weird. Yeah, I still kind of get those nerves like I don't know what's happening, but I know exactly every pitch in that game. So it's cool though. It's super cool. It's really cool to watch I'm a huge baseball fan. I watch every game in the playoffs every year. So it was just really cool to kind of see myself in that situation and being in the moment, kind of see how it is behind the scenes and how everything goes in the playoffs. It was awesome.
I think you threw 68 pitches in 5 innings. And I get it. The whole 3 times through the order. We've got a good bullpen. Hey, Rook, you did your job, the whole bit. Was there a little bit of you that was pissed off that you couldn't keep going? I mean, it was 5 shutout innings.
No, not at all. So I walked off the mound after that 5th, and I kind of realized like I was starting to hang a few sliders, and I wasn't just, it wasn't as crisp as what it was. And he asked me, Hookie came up and asked me straight up. He said, "Did you just empty the tank?" And I was like, "I did. Yeah. I mean, I was giving it all I had that last inning." And I just knew with the way we had the bullpen lined up, and I just had a really good feeling about handing it off to those guys. And I just felt like I was kind of losing a little bit of not feel for my pitch, just location wise, starting to hang a few sliders, which 1 pitch is all it takes in the playoffs. So I knew they were fresh down there. I knew they were ready for the moment. So I kind of told them, yeah, like I emptied the tank and then made the move.
What was it like for you? You know, I imagine your arms on the rail there in the top of the 9th inning. You turn the ball over to one of the best closers in baseball, and you're thinking, man, we are punching our ticket to the next round. I feel great about this.
Mm-hmm.
Where was your headspace at the beginning of the inning, and then take me all the way through that Alonso at bat?
Exactly what you just said. I'm like, we're winning this game. There's no way that we lose this game. We got Devin on the mound, best closer in my opinion in the game. The moment was right. It was a 2-run game. Yeah, 2-run game. 2-run game. So I was just excited to watch it. I was excited to see it play out, and the Alonso bat. It's just tough because you know he has that power. You know it can happen any moment. He's proven it over the years. But then you know who Devin is, and you know he's got a best swing and miss pitch in the game. So it was tough in the moment for sure to watch it. But I mean, you can't not give the ball to Devin there, and you can't not trust him there. So it's just kind of one of those baseball moments. Like, hey, we put our best out there, and baseball happened.
As baseball fans, sometimes we can tell when it's the swing of a bat. But when you're a baseball player, you really know.
Mm-hmm.
When he hit the ball, did you know?
I thought it was gone, and then I saw Sal kind of tracking, and if anyone watches any Milwaukee games, they know that our outfield can catch a lot of balls, even if they're over the fence.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't think it was going by far, but I knew he hit the ball hard, and once I seen Sal like hit the fence, then I knew it was gone. There's no way you can get up there and get it, but it was tough. Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough night, but I mean, like I said, and like I think everybody agrees with, especially on the Brewers, is you don't give the ball to anyone else, and you don't take the ball from Devin there.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, nobody has a problem with
Right.
him getting out. It's just a question of who wins the battle. It's just the suddenness. Baseball is so beautiful and so cruel at the same time because it is a 6-month grind that is unlike any other sport. Like in football, you know it's do or die. When you get to mid-January and you got to play a game, one team's going home today, but in baseball, with the ebbs and flows of a series and the pitching changes and the matchups and everything else, it's just what makes this game so great. So when the finality of it happened, what was going through your heart?
I was just like, dang, man, it's kind of like exactly what you just said. It's like 6, especially for me. I felt like the season was 12 months. It's everything that I was going through. But yeah, it was just like it happened, and no one lost faith though. And as far as us scoring runs in the bottom of the 9th, so I think we got that leadoff hit, and then everybody's right back on the top of the dugout. Like, oh yeah, we're not gone. This is gonna happen. We're gonna make something happen here. And then that double play ball just kind of just deflated everybody in the dugout, and yeah, it just felt like a moment of silence. Is what it felt like. Just like couldn't move. Like, just sucks. Just when you just want to be on the other side.
With you saying that it would, for you, it felt like a 12-month season because of everything that you went through. And then actually the many years of trying to reach the Holy Grail, and you finally did. Did you was there a day, was there an hour after the season was over where you kind of were able to encapsulate everything that happened and just feel good and proud about what you accomplished?
Yeah, I came home and I did a lot of interviews this year where they'd ask me, like, how do I feel about it? And I'd always say, I don't feel anything right now. I'm just coming to the yard, super excited to come to a major league stadium every day and work. But as far as the games and pitching, it felt like every other season I've pitched in as far as the game. Like, if I don't execute a pitch, it's still going to get hit. If I do execute a pitch, I'll probably get a good result. So like I said, going back to the past few years, just learning that. Like, it took me so long to learn that. Like, all I have to do is compete and give it all I have and be ready for the moment. And yeah, it was took me probably a couple weeks. Came home, watched some games over, and kind of just reflected on step by step how it all went. And yeah, I was super, super proud of myself and just happy for the position I put myself in here in Milwaukee. And I love Milwaukee. So it just makes it so much better just to be able to go back next year and do it again. And yeah, everyone's just so amazing over there, and did it for one night. And then I had to flip the script and get ready for the next one. 'Cause you know how baseball is. Last year's last year.
Where was the best city that you stopped in? Best ballpark, best atmosphere, where you were like, damn, this is awesome. This is what they all talk about.
Boston, San Diego, LA. I like those three the most, probably. And they're probably all high on everybody's list. But yeah, just the environment, everything. The environment, I pitched in Boston on a getaway day, and it was sold out. It was amazing. The hotels are beautiful. The cities are beautiful. The food's great. So, yeah, San Diego, Boston, and LA will probably be the top three.
All right. So now that we have, had essentially a 7-year journey to get to that spot, what was the place where, like, people wouldn't even believe it? Like, was there a city that you pitched in on your minor league, journey that was almost something like out of Bull Durham, where we're taking a 12-hour bus ride and you're like, man, I didn't even know this city existed in the United States?
Oh, city, let me think. There's been a lot.
Yeah. Was there a city, a ballpark, a minor league moment for you that stood out?
Probably in Vermont. I played there in short season against the Oakland A's short season team. And yeah, that field it just felt like we were traveling back to 1995. It was, they didn't have a shower in the locker rooms. The showers were broken. We had to tote, I don't think the clubhouse locked or something. We had to take all of our equipment back to the hotel every night. It was tough. And that's where we played our championship game, actually, in short season when I was with Tampa. So that was one where I was like,
wait,
where are we at?
Hold on. There was no shower? So y'all had to go stanky back on the bus?
We had to go stanky back on the bus, shower at the hotel. Yep. Full uni. If I remember correctly, we were full uni.
So what, you were 18 years old, 19 years old?
19. Just turned 19, yep.
Oh, so it literally is like we're back in high school.
Yeah.
Like we just played a game, we're getting back on the bus, and we're rolling back to our high school, right?
Yep. Get back on the bus. Everybody take their equipment, take your hats, cleats, everything back to the hotel. We met in the lobby, put them all in this big bag in the lobby, and then, we were fortunate enough at least someone cleaned them for us. But yeah, that was a tough one.
Okay. All right. Well, no more of that. We don't have to worry about bus rides through Vermont, and I guarantee you all the showers are going to be working in the show from here on out. So that's good news for you.
I really hope so.
Yeah. Tobias, I really appreciate the time. This is awesome. You got a couple of big things. Obviously, we got Thanksgiving coming up, and then your nuptials. This is a big deal. Did you already write your vows?
Yeah, we're working on them. We're going to do them private. So, yeah, I just want to make sure they're as good as they can be. I don't want to rush it. I've been writing them for a few months, just putting little pieces together.
Yeah, that's great. So what do you mean you're private? You guys aren't going to say it at the ceremony, or
no? We're going to
just share it amongst
to do our private vows on the night before at the rehearsal dinner.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm not a huge
just for each other.
I'm not a huge public speaker, and I don't do that great with these things, but we're working on it, trying to get better.
No, well, you did great with this, so don't let that stop you. But I like it that it's just the two of you. That's what the vows are all about. It's not for the show. It's not for everybody else. It's for the two of you.
I'm glad you agree, Chris, because I'm on your side. This was something I brought to my fiance, and she wasn't overly happy with it. And then she talks to so and so's wife, and then they did that, they did it. Oh, it's not that bad. So came to convince that we're gonna do it that way.
And this is the only piece of advice, and this is coming from a guy who's been married 27 years. So you can take it, you can leave it, whatever. I always tell people, take one mental snapshot. Just you and Leah get away from everybody, walk away from everybody for just 5 minutes, and just watch. Just look at everybody enjoying themselves, the smiles on their faces. Everybody's happy for you. It's going to be nuts because y'all have to visit everybody's table. That stuff gets a little tired, but it's part of the wedding deal. But take 5 minutes and just look, talk, amongst each other and enjoy it.
Yeah, Reese Hoskins told me that same exact thing. Just take a few minutes, take a step back, and just look at what you've brought here and just enjoy it and enjoy all the loved ones that you've invited to your wedding. And it's gonna be fun. Hopefully, we get some good weather. We're down here in Florida, so it's hit or miss. Rain for an hour.
What time are we getting married?
100 degrees, 4:30.
Yeah.
Our ceremony.
Oh no.
So we're not too worried about that, but just having a nice day would be nice.
Okay. Well, just make sure that the dome is shut. That's all. Hit that button.
It'll be closed.
Make sure the dome.
Yeah. Close it up.
Yeah.
Turn the AC.
Yeah, close it up. Yeah, please crank that up. I don't care what time of year in Florida it is. It is hot
all time,
every day of the year.
We just got a cold front. 2 days, 55 to 70.
Okay, well 55. I'm not going to use cold, but just not hot is what I would describe it as.
It's perfect. It's perfect weather to play some golf in.
Nice. Go get those rounds in while you can, brother. Congratulations on the upcoming wedding. Enjoy your family and your friends and everything else, and stay in touch. I'm sure we'll see you out at spring training. I think John Boy will be out there at some point, and we look forward to shaking hands with you in person, all right?
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you very much for our one-of-a-kind producer, the very talented Robbie Scirocco, and from your Milwaukee Brewers, Tobias Myers. I am Chris Rose. We'll see you next time here on the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media.